Kitchen remodels are complicated, and there are a lot of questions involved, but there is one wrong answer for every mid-century house kitchen update, and I won't gatekeep it. Just say no to white shaker cabinet doors. You don't need them. Beyond that, though, there are a lot of possibilities, a lot of right answers. So let's talk about the questions that will come up when you plan a kitchen update for a mid-century home. Kitchens are one of the most common areas that fall victim to the trendy choice house trap, resulting in remodels that become dated quickly. This is because people mostly focus on what's wrong with their kitchen. The drawers stick, it seems out of style, and then they just pick up the phone and call a contractor, or they hit a kitchen store showroom and just see what's available. Whenever you do that, you're going to find a lot of options that look nice in flipping through a lookbook or walking through a kitchen store, but are they the right choice for a mid-century house? That's the question we're trying to answer today. Because trendy choices are going to look slick for a moment. They're set up in a nice showroom, they're cohesive, they're coherent, they look good in themselves, but kitchens are a space that will easily become time-spammed, and trendy choices are always going to age like milk. For a timeless update, one that's going to stay true to your style for all the decades you live in and enjoy your house, you need a better plan. As an architect who specializes in updates for mid-century houses, I think about kitchens very nearly all day, every day. So let's talk about the 5 questions you're going to need to answer to get any kitchen remodel done, and how to answer them the best way for you and your home's mid-century style. You're going to need to address construction type, pre-manufactured, semi-custom, fully custom by a local cabinet maker. You're going to need to choose the cabinet box type. Will it be European style or a more traditional American face frame? You're going to need to choose the door type, inset, partial overlay, or full overlay. And you're going to need to choose the door style. For this, there's just one answer. It's slab style. Do not choose shaker door. Do not choose any other type. Slim shaker is not mid-century shaker. It's just slim shaker. Your default choice here is slab. And finally, you're going to need to choose the material. Will it be solid wood? Will it be wood veneer? Will it be MDF with some sort of wrap, either a solid finish or a veneer finish? Now, before you make modern choices that are going to feel in line with mid-century choices, let's talk about what was common for kitchens in the mid-century era. I'm going to pull a bunch of images that I've collected over time on a Pinterest board. I'll link to it below this video, but here let's just look at some classic mid-century kitchen types. It was common to have either a metal or a wood kitchen in the mid-century era. If your kitchen was metal, odds are it looked something like this, and there were a number of manufacturers that were making steel kitchen cabinets earlier, even in the mid-century era, in the 30s and 40s as well. These typically had full overlay doors. They were generally enameled in white or in a fun color, and they often were paired with stainless steel counter surfaces. The advantage of this kind of cabinet is that it was absolutely bomb-proof. It was air-sealed, it was rodent-proof, and you can actually still find these cabinet kits available in someone's barn that can be refinished and reinstalled in a house today. If you're lucky enough to track one of these down and you're into a time capsule style of kitchen, you've hit pay dirt. This is an amazing feature, and if you've got a kitchen like this in your house, it's worth thinking about how to reconfigure or work with it in order to keep it or find a good home for it. Please never let one of these kitchens end up in a landfill. Far more common, though, in the mid-century years was this kind of site-built wood kitchen. So this would have been built not in a cabinet shop and boxes delivered to site, so it can't be deassembled or deinstalled from a kitchen and given away. It's attached to the house. It's built piece by piece in there. The best thing you can do if you're trying to salvage a kitchen like this is to save the door and drawer fronts and hardware from it. So if you look closely, you'll see that these are slab doors. The doors are probably made out of plywood, and it's just a nice finish veneer on the outer layer. And yet they're not full overlay. They're not completely covering the frame behind. Sometimes you'll find that the frame behind the doors is wood, the same as the doors. And often you've got a painted finish on that cabinet overlay, the back surround of the doors, and then the door itself is stained. It's probably pine. It's probably amber shellac. There's a million variations of this kind of kitchen. It's the kind of kitchen I have in my own 1952 house. And if it is in good shape and it's sturdy and could just take a refinish and you don't need to make dramatic changes to the layout, you're perfectly at liberty to keep a kitchen like this intact. But if you're looking for something a little more modern than mid-century vintage twee, you can still find reference examples for that in the mid-century era. This kitchen in an Albert Frey house from 1955 is original. It has inset cabinet doors that are so sleekly installed they appear to be full overlay, but you can actually see the little bit of edge of face frame around each of them. Also, pay attention, this has a wall-mounted refrigerator. That's what these metal cabinet doors are up above here. So this is a kitchen to die for. So let's go back and break down those 5 mid-century cabinet question choices. The very first decision you're going to make is, are you looking for a pre-manufactured style of cabinet, something semi-customized, or a fully custom cabinet from a local cabinet shop? This kind of decision is typically driven by price and time sensitivity. Probably your most cost-effective choice is going to be pre-manufactured, and it's absolutely possible to create a sleek and classy mid-century kitchen straight out of IKEA's showroom. Going up a level from that, it's possible to take box cabinets, even IKEA box cabinets, and semi-customize them. There are a number of companies out there, including semi-handmade, that will allow you to put panel details, finish strips, edges, a different set of style of doors, grain-matched walnut doors, for example, over simple pre-manufactured boxes, and you can kind of create something that works with what you've got. Another variation of a semi-custom option would be some of the cabinet boxes that you already have in your house, getting new doors and drawers measured and made to order from an internet supply company. Most commonly, if you're working with a general contractor, they're going to have an in-house cabinet shop that they have a working relationship with, and they'll want to source your cabinets from that cabinet shop. This can be a really great option, and you'll just want to look for good references. You can also choose a custom cabinet supplier, like I recently interviewed Kerf Design on the Mid-Model Remodel podcast, and they're a great example of a long-distance supplier of custom cabinets. You send them your needs, they put together a specific kitchen design for you, they actually assemble the boxes custom for you in their shop and ship them to site to be installed as pre-assembled boxes. It's actually kind of a fusion of the pre-manufactured and the custom option. The next question you'll need to answer is the cabinet box type. This comes in two flavors. You can get the European style, which has exposed outer edges. It basically just has a back and four sides, or the traditional American face frame cabinet style, which has a back, four sides, and a front side that has a hole in it, which is covered up by the door. This decision may be baked in when you choose your cabinet source. Some suppliers only provide one or the other cabinet box type, but if you have a strong preference, that should inform your earlier decision. Either one can be correct for a mid-century kitchen, so this isn't a deal-breaker choice. It's kind of more of a preference of, do you want to see a little bit of reveal of the face frame overlay? Do you want to have a color behind your wooden cabinet finish, or a wood finish behind colored cabinet doors? And how do you feel about the sort of little bit of reveal, another thing to clean, another etch detail? Or would you rather have the sleekness of full overlay doors, in which case you might as well go with European style cabinets. Your third choice is the door type, and this covers how much of the cabinet behind it is covered by the door itself. A full overlay fully covers everything that's behind the door when it's closed. A partial overlay reveals a little outline edge around it, like this, and then there's the inset, where the door or the drawer is flush with the frame of the cabinet. This actually can happen both with the face frame style, which would look like this, or Kerf Design is a great example of a European style edge exposed cabinet that also has nicely inset door and drawer frames, or door and drawer faces. Again, if you remember from our history examples, full overlay, partial overlay, and inset are all appropriate mid-century choices if you want to make them. Then we've got the door style, and again, let me emphasize here, shaker cabinet doors have no place in a mid-century kitchen. They're not bad, they're not wrong or evil. If you have a craftsman house, I highly recommend you choose shaker cabinet doors. But if you have a mid-century house, just stay away. They're never going to feel period appropriate. They will always feel like they are right now when they are most popular, now going back about 10 years. And while they are still full steam ahead in every cabinet shop show book, I would imagine that 10 years from now, they will start to seem a little dated, and 20 years from now, they will seem incredibly dated and time-stamped to this moment. Don't fall prey to the question of slim shaker being a modern or a mid-century style of shaker. I get this question all the time. It's just a different trend in shaker cabinets. It's just a tweak on the style, and it's not appropriate for your mid-century house. The final question is, what are your cabinets made of? And you still have a lot of options here. While many people feel that solid wood is the best option, that's actually it's certainly going to be more expensive, and it may not even be the most appropriate. There are a lot of long-lasting sturdy finishes that can be wrapped or veneered around an MDF interior, and that does not necessarily involve shoddy workmanship. It's just a more dimensionally stable interior material. Now, you do want to ask some hard questions about what is a cabinet containing. Does it have ethical sourcing? Does it have a guarantee of no nasty chemicals, no off-gassing components that you're going to want to be aware of from a sick building syndrome point of view? But after you've cleared that hurdle, you can absolutely go ahead and choose a veneered choice. Again, think about the veneered finishes in mid-century furniture. This is not even just a compromise choice. It is the way to get a beautiful grain-matched, grain-continuous finish. Okay, so those are the big five. There are a couple of other little questions, actually some of them quite significant, that are going to affect the look and feel of your cabinets and how much they feel mid-century appropriate as you go forward. One other thing to be on the lookout for is crown molding or edge finishing around it. This is something that cabinet shops like to add to the top of their cabinets because it helps cover up any unevenness on where their cabinets might meet the rest of the building, but you are going to veto any choice like that. You want the most minimalist connection between cabinet and house. If you need some sort of wood trim to hide the connection between your cabinets and the house itself, it should be the most simple piece of parting stop available. You may also get some questions about the kick plate. This is a fun place to add a flash of color or to think about base cabinet undermount lighting to light the floor surface, but it doesn't need to be fancy, and if you're in doubt about it, it should just be wood that matches the finish of the rest of the cabinet. There is, of course, the question of hardware, and in this is maybe an entire other YouTube video in itself, but you want to think about metal choices, how they coordinate with the other metals in your general vicinity in the same room and throughout the house. As a rule of thumb, I like to suggest no more than 2 metal colors, metal materials in any given room. If you're looking for help with finish choices specifically, wood grain and stain or metal, I've got a mini course on making material choices for a mid-century house that you might find very helpful in simplifying your decisions. One other important aspect of getting mid-century kitchens and entire updates of mid-century houses right is to nail the lighting, and that's going to be the subject of next week's video, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to do a little series on sort of an architect's perspective on the details and the big picture choices of your mid-century remodel. But for now, if you've got more questions about cabinets in the kitchen, put them below this video and I will try to get them answered or point you at the appropriate resources.